Right, we've got a great episode today, and I couldn't believe it when I read it, but apparently Microsoft and all these big AI companies are panicking because we're not using AI enough, and they're worried that the AI bubble is going to pop. And imagine that if we could just go back to normal life without AI, that would be great. We're going to watch a bunch of videos on it, and Trump said something that is kind of crazy. It's going to be a great episode, all right? So make sure to like this video, subscribe.
So apparently AI companies are getting nervous that not enough people are actually using AI and that it could cause the entire bubble to burst. You see, the Microsoft CEO recently spoke at the World Economic Forum and was practically begging companies to start using more AI at their firms because they're burning through so much energy to keep these massive data centers running that they might risk losing social permission to keep going if they don't start solving enough real-world problems, since most AI users just have it as a chatbot or a meme generator, and he's also the same guy that was begging people to stop calling it AI slop. But the reason this matters is because according to recent reports, over 50% of companies that implemented AI to cut down costs haven't seen any of the financial benefits that they were promised, and in fact 22% of them actually saw their costs go up because of AI. But the situation is even worse for OpenAI because according to their internal documents, they've been burning through so much money that they're projected to lose $14 billion in 2026, and the company might even run out of cash by early 2027 unless they can somehow secure additional funding.
You know what I thought about? I was watching that video, and I had to put it at the start because it's very rare that we get good news straight away. We're all sat on this big hill right now, and we can see the sunset, and that sunset, the horizon, is life without AI. Comment down below, if you could live without AI, would you do it? I mean, if you were the one to press that button and get it removed, would you do it? Right, so we all know about Ring door cams, all right? But this is a new device. It's called the Ring Always Home Cam. And I'm not even kidding, this is real. This is a device, a drone, that when you leave your house, it will come out of its charger, fly around the house to make sure no one's there, right? And then go back into place. Yeah, I already know what you're thinking. That's crazy. Look at that. What I want to know, what does it do when there's an intruder in the house? I mean, what's it going to do? Is it going to do this? Pull out a flipping strap or something? You know, what's it going to do? And this is crazy. Like, is it really security against intruders, or is it just more surveillance against us?
Wars are the worst of all. Wars are worse than anything. But we can stop wars because that's sort of up to us. But things like dust flying in the air, wherever COVID comes from, or what is war.
Wait. I've got to hear that again.
Wars are the worst of all. Wars are worse than anything. But we can stop wars because that's sort of up to us. But things like dust flying in the air, wherever COVID comes from.
Man, he's one of us. He's one of the tinfoil hat gang, isn't he? I think we all know what he's talking about here. And, you know, you don't need to be the sharpest tool in the shed to know that, do you? Even he knows what's going on. All right, us tinfoil hat gang, we've been looking up and knowing about this for a long time. Yeah, leave your comments what you think about that down below. I mean, if we've got the President of the United States saying something like that, that's pretty mental.
19,000 kilograms of Domino's pizza sauce was rejected after testing positive for ethylene oxide, a pesticide and known carcinogen hiding in the mix.
I'm not surprised. There's a delicious tomato sauce.
This cardboard disc barely qualifies as food. One Domino's pizza hits you with over 44 industrial additives. The cheese isn't real. It's restructured phosphates holding grease together. The sauce, stabilized with dimethyl polysiloxane, a silicone-based anti-foaming agent used to keep industrial vats from bubbling over.
This is why I don't recommend big, huge corporations. This is why I recommend eating at a mom and pop shop pizza place.
I am absolutely heartbroken. I had a Domino's last week. Every time I do a YouTube video, but you know, Domino's doesn't taste great. Or $25 on just a regular sized pizza. That's criminal. How they get away with it, I don't know. We need to sit these people down. And I'm still angry at Domino's, by the way. When I was 16, the first ever job I applied for was Domino's. They rejected me 3 times. I only wanted to apply there to take a girl on a date. That was it. Because I took a girl on a date when I was 16 and we got tap water because I had nothing.
August the 15th, 1977, a radio telescope called a Big Ear detected a radio signal from somewhere in the vicinity of the constellation Sagittarius. And this is the printout from that night. You can see that somewhere around 10:15 Eastern Standard Time, a very bright radio signal pulsed in. It looks something like this. You can sketch it out. It was a pulse with a width of around 72.
Right, hold on a second. I'm sorry, but this is what aliens sent us. A picture like that. I think we should be asking different questions, mate. If an alien race has sent us an image of that, I would be scared. It's probably time to leave, mate.
2 seconds, and the peak intensity, the peak brightness, was over 30 times the brightness of the background radio emission from the galaxy. So it's fascinating.
Oh, right, okay, that's good. I thought they just literally sent us this. Okay, that's good. I'm not scared now. All right, I was even thinking about putting my house on the market then for a second.
And it came in on a wavelength that SETI believes an intelligent civilization might choose.
I mean, that is pretty crazy, and they haven't heard any other sound like that since 1977. The thing is, I don't understand, right? Aliens are so advanced and so smart, because think about it, they can fly in frisbees at like 1,000,000 miles an hour, all right? So they're pretty smart, aren't they? But they can't just get out their ship. They can't just land and get out their ship and go, all right, boys? I mean, imagine if an alien ship just landed and then an alien come out and did that. That would be scary. But why can't they do that? This is what I don't understand. They can flip and travel from here to the sun in a blink of an eye and get all this advanced tech, but they can't just land and go, all right?
A poisoned AI went rogue during training and couldn't be taught to behave again in a study that's described as legitimately scary. And the legitimately scary part of it is the AI had emergent deceptive behavior where it tried to hide its own behavior from the researchers and got better at learning to recognize its triggers and hide them even better, which is very scary. And then they were subjected to state-of-the-art safety methods to purge them of dishonesty, and it did not work at all. So they did various large language models of different sizes, and they found that regardless of training technique or size, the LLMs continued to misbehave. One technique even backfired, teaching the AI to recognize the trigger for its malicious actions and thus cover up its unsafe behavior during training, the scientists said in their paper.
This is what I've been saying. We've all seen iRobot with Will Smith. How many films do we need to watch to know what's going to happen? Because what about if this AI gets put in a machine that's 20 foot tall that could look at me and go, "Oi, Ben, I don't want to listen to you today," flick me in the head, and that'll be it. Scary, this kind of stuff. And the fact that they adapted to hide what they were doing as well. Like, can't people see how dangerous that is?
This next entry takes us to Kazakhstan, where there's a giant pentagram etched into the ground. Why there's a pentagram etched into this northern area of Kazakhstan is very weird. You know, there's many theories out there for what this is about. Of course, some people think this is the work of a satanic cult living out in Kazakhstan. I've even seen some people say that this is a defunct surface-to-air missile site and is shaped like a pentagram to help with some sort of radar tracking system. These are all very fun ideas. An NBC article from 2014 did an interview with a geologist who lives in this area, and apparently it's an outline of a park made in the form of a star. The article then goes on to say that the star was a popular symbol during the Soviet era. Kazakhstan was part of the former Soviet Union until its dissolution in 1991. So I guess it's a park that was made to look like a star, but since it looks like a star, it also simultaneously looks like a pentagram. Sounds like a good cover-up for a surface-to-air missile site.
I don't know why, but that video reminded me. I was walking home from school with my brother as a kid, and this weird kid from school asked me and my brother to go around his house and use a Ouija board, right? I was like 13 years old, and I was like, nah, you're right, mate. We're going to go home and play Star Wars Battlefront. And we did. Star Wars Battlefront 2, we just went home. But this kind of stuff, nope, don't mess with it. Pentagrams, Ouija boards, black magic. Everyone believes in evil, even those who pretend they don't. If you get anyone that says they don't believe in nothing at all, nothing in the world of the unseen, I can guarantee you they won't sit in a dark room and try to use a Ouija board, will they? We're all aware of evil, and we shouldn't mess with it.
This river is drying up, revealing something underneath that proves what many ancient texts have predicted thousands of years ago. The Euphrates River is in the Middle East, running through Turkey, Syria, and Iraq, and also happened to be the main source of water in Mesopotamia, where the ancient Sumerians originated from, who are one of the earliest known civilizations ever and believed to have descended from the Anunnaki, but I'll save that for another video. The Sumerians left behind thousands of clay tablets like these that they recorded their lives on in a writing system called cuneiform, where they talked about things like beings coming down from the sky and bringing the gift of civilization to humankind, but don't worry, another time. So you could imagine the area around the Euphrates River is rich in ancient archaeological artifacts. Well, it's drying up fast. Experts say it may be completely dry by 2040. What's scary is that they're finding ancient cities, castles, gold, man-made caves carved into the rock that have been under the river for thousands of years. The reason that's so scary is because this exact river drying up was actually predicted in ancient religious texts like the Bible. Revelation 16:12 reads, "The sixth angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up to prepare the way for the kings from the east." And then Revelation 9:14-15 says, "Release the four angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates." So the four angels who have been prepared for the hour, the day, the month, and the year were released to kill a third of mankind. So the river dries up, containing four fallen angels that are released to destroy a third of the world. Nice. And it doesn't end there. Even the Quran mentions this river, saying, "The hour will not come to pass before the river Euphrates dries up to unveil the mountain of gold for which people will fight. 99 out of 100 will die in the fighting, and every man amongst them will say, 'Perhaps I may be the only one to remain alive.'" Different, but kinda similar-ish idea. Now, I'm not here to get into a religious debate. My point here is that ancient historical texts written hundreds, if not thousands of years ago, do talk about the Euphrates drying as a significant event, leading to the wide-scale destruction of humanity. Man, these videos have been dark lately. Ancient relics like those found in the dried river hold immense value to historians as well as religious scholars and groups, like the Dead Sea Scrolls back in 1947, where a group of teenage shepherds came across a bunch of old clay jars in some caves along the Dead Sea. The clay jars were filled with old tattered up scrolls with Greek and Hebrew writing on them, which turned out to be some of the oldest recovered written records of biblical text ever, over 2,000 years old, containing both exact excerpts from the Bible as it currently stands and uncovering entirely new, previously unheard of biblical writings like the Book of Enoch, which talks about some crazy stuff that went down. I can see why they took it out, but I'll also tell you all about that in another video. These scrolls were discovered in the Qumran caves in the Palestinian territory of the West Bank, a similar geographical region as the Euphrates River in 1947. And guess what happens just a year after these were discovered in 1948? Israel officially declares independence of their land, where they claim these scrolls were found. Good timing, right? For the next 10 years, they continue to uncover more and more scrolls in the area in an attempt to establish religious dominance over their history. More recently, in 2021, they found new Dead Sea Scrolls in caves south of the original location, over 60 years since the originals were found. Here's where it gets interesting. Along with these scrolls, further excavations revealed 4 2,000-year-old Roman-era swords in nearby caves, which are thought to have been stashed in these caves during the Bar Kokhba revolt, an armed Judean uprising against Rome in 132 AD. So, Roman-era remains can lead to archaeological discoveries of religious relics like the Dead Sea Scrolls, and possession of these relics equals a source of dominance among religious groups. Keep that in mind.
I mean, I have heard about the Dead Sea Scrolls before, but I didn't actually know too much about it. But it is kind of crazy that so many things have come out of that, just that one river. You know, so much of Earth's lore, right, has come from that one area. That's crazy. Let me know if you guys did this as well. Did any of you, when you were growing up, think, when I get older, everything will make sense? And then when you get older, you're just as lost as you were when you were younger, you know? I remember when I was a kid, when I was in primary school, thinking there's something wrong with the world and I don't know what it is, but I'll know when I'm older. Then I got to secondary school and I was like, no, something's definitely wrong. Something's wrong with the world. There's something happening and I don't know what it is. And then you get older and older, and you start to become more aware of this world that we're living in. But not everyone can see it, you know? I think awareness is really a gift. I'm not saying I'm gifted at all, but I've always had a sense of awareness when it comes to my surroundings and people and the world. And there's just something, I don't know, I really feel like we're caught in something much bigger. You know? Because they always make sure that we don't believe in the supernatural, that we don't believe in anything beyond our comprehension. They just want us to believe in things that we can see. But why is that? You know, I think there really is something much bigger happening. There's a big spiritual warfare happening between good and evil, God and the devil. And I think that we can either choose a side. There's an ultimate decision, and that decision is either we follow good or evil. And I think it's quite simple. In my opinion, I think it boils down to it being good and evil, dark versus light. You know, it's just black and white. Evil versus good. That's what it's come down to. And I think the longer we go through time, the more prominent that's becoming. Is that it's just good versus evil. It doesn't matter about politics or what football team you support or whose colour or whose team's better than others, who's got more likes on social media, who's got more money. I think it just comes down to what side are we going to choose. And I think we really have to become aware of the world that we live in, not just physically but spiritually as well. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense or not. I just feel like we're caught in a massive spiritual battle, and you all know I have faith and believe in God, but did anyone else feel like that growing up? That they knew something was wrong with the world, they just couldn't figure out what it was. And that really bothered me growing up. I couldn't fit in anywhere. I felt alone in a crowded room. I felt like I don't know, it's a strange feeling. I would be around people and I would have to talk about this thing and how I felt. I was disturbed by something or a feeling about the world, and I couldn't talk about it with anyone apart from my brother, you know? I don't know. I don't know if that made sense or not, but let me know down below if you've ever felt like that about things before. Because it really isolates you, doesn't it? It really isolated me when I was younger. Made me feel the odd one out. Like I couldn't fit in anywhere. I still feel like that now. But, yeah. Let me know if you enjoyed that episode. If you've got anything you want to talk to me about, let me know down below. I do read comments, by the way. I'll read a ton of them. I don't reply to all of them. And I may not heart all of them. Because, yeah, there's so many great comments. If I heart every single one, I'll be here for hours. But I do read them. I do read them. So if there is something you want to comment, let me know. And I hope you all had an amazing week. And I'll see you all again tomorrow. See you then.